he swings as hard as he can, and the golf club slips out of his hands, and it is flying through the air.
Helicopter.
Like a helicopter. And it goes all the way across the cul-de-sac through our neighbor's window. And you hear a massive explosion of glass.
Way.
So they all file out, and the last person to come out is the grandma, and it was her room.
Welcome to the Spencer Whiteout podcast. Rated R.
Criminal charges with you, bro. Guess like we're avoiding the shark. Call it leather fetish.
No, hey, turbo neck guy.
I'll give you a kiss. You give me your number.
That checked out a ton, dude. Tell me you felt.
We're Americans. We're the ones that are descendants from the 1776 musket-bearing motherfuckers.
Welcome to the Spencer Whiteout podcast, where we collect experiences as badges, memories as treasures, and stories as wealth. Recorded February 23rd, 2025, this comedy show features Jackson Bates and Luke Fine. In this ep, we tell funny stories including an accidental abduction, a concussion crush, the people versus Bates, fart framing, baseball fights, bad roommates, bad jobs, and a golf club incident. Let's dive in.
Well, let's get into some growing up stories. So, Luke, tell us about your pig-headed prank call.
I made a couple poor choices in life, and this was one of them. Not many, but a couple. So when I was like 12, I had these friends that were like the nerdiest kids in the school. Like it was the nerd group of the grade. And I don't know what compelled me to do this, but I called my phone number backwards. And I was 12, so I didn't star 6-7 it. So I called my phone number backwards, and they didn't answer. I left a voicemail, and I was pretending to get abducted. And I literally had no reason I did this. I was 12 and just dumb. I pretended to get abducted, and then I had a friend in the background that like screamed like a little girl because he was 12, you know, and hadn't gone through puberty. So there's like the recording, I'm sure, sounded like an actual person getting abducted. And then a day goes by. The next day, we get a knock at the door. My mom opens it, and there's 2 police officers at my front door.
That guy's a cop. He looks like a cop. He talks like a cop.
I'm holding a bowl of Cheez-Its, and they're like, is this, you know, so-and-so, my mom? She was like, yeah, and like, do you have a son? And she was like, yeah, and like, I was standing behind her.
The mother of Luke Fine.
Drop the cheeses,
And
put
they
your
were
hands
like-
behind your back.
Yeah.
They were like, we got a call that from this phone number that someone got abducted.
But it was backwards.
Because it was my
your
phone number. I
but
called.
You called
I called. So they traced my phone number back and found me. And they parked all the way down the street. They walked all the way up because they thought that like my mom abducted me pretty much.
Wow.
Obviously, I wasn't abducted. You know, I'm well fed, eating Cheez-Its, about to go to baseball practice.
Yeah.
We had to have a call with the detective.
Uh-huh.
So I spoke with the detective, and he said they spent about 3 days listening to that voicemail, analyzing it.
Dude, you wasted so much of their time.
my
Seriously.
gosh.
So what happened was the lady.
At least they're doing their due diligence, you know.
The lady got the voicemail.
That was a drill.
She listened to it. She immediately went to the police department and gave them the phone because she was so convinced that someone was abducted.
Yeah. Wow.
So, yeah, and then I had to explain to the guy why I did that, which I didn't have a reason. I was just a 12-year-old. I obviously was very sorry about it. It was a horrible situation.
Yeah.
And he was like, technically, this is like a crime, but you're life
12.
lesson. Don't make poor choices like that.
It's just a prank.
That was the end of that. So that was pretty much my sole interaction besides getting tickets with police. That's my criminal history.
Yeah. That's your criminal history. I love that. And then what about attending Catholic school? How was that, Luke?
Yeah, I spent 7 years at a private Catholic school. So I've been to more masses than probably you would expect. And then I accidentally went to a Christian university, which was a much better experience. I had this kid that was kind of a mutual friend. I had like told him like I had like a crush on this girl or something. Like I was like, oh, that girl that like I have a crush on. He was like, oh, I'm gonna go tell her. So he ran over to go tell her. I obviously didn't want him to do that. So I chased after him and I tripped and landed on him. He was probably like 80 pounds. So I landed on him. He actually, it's not like the best happy story, but he fell and hit his head really hard. Ended up with a concussion. I got suspended for a couple days because, I mean, I was on top of him. So, you know, everybody thought that I like tackled him, but I tripped. It wasn't intentional at all. And I was very, very sad about it. But other than that,
unintentional beat down on.
Yeah. No, I feel bad. I definitely feel bad about it, and like not my favorite memory ever happening, but yeah, I feel bad for that kid, and I hope that he is doing well now.
I hope you are doing well.
Dude, that reminds me of my like junior high. I remember we had Dominic, who was like this, you know, sweet kid, great friend of mine, and they were like, "Oh, you need to date Jenna." Everyone was like peer pressuring him, like, "You need to date Jenna. You need to go out." And we're in junior high, and he's like, "No, I don't want to." So everyone picked him up, physically picked him up on the playground, and brought him over to Jenna and placed him in front of her and forced him to ask her out. And then she said yes, and then they broke up like a day later.
Heartbroken.
I know. That's how it goes.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
All right, secret social.
So I was a pretty good kid in high school, but I had some friends that were kind of knuckleheads and found ourselves in some situations we shouldn't have been in. But
we all do.
Yeah. So we had this assistant principal come in one year and just totally laid down the law with, you know, like dress code and like no hanging out in the halls and like, you know, all these random measures, you know. So he's there for like maybe half a year, and we start seeing on Instagram, it's like I'll make up a fake name, Mr. Anderson fan page.
Mr. Anderson.
So we're like, what's this? And then we just see it's a picture of this guy, our assistant principal, and it's like the profile picture is him smoking a cigarette in traffic, and we're like, oh gosh, what is this? So we start scrolling, it's just random candid pictures of him like
out and about in public
at school, like walking through the hall, him at his desk, and he's like, the captions are like, felt silly in this one, or like out on a Monday afternoon, or just like whatever. But it was like became this whole thing through the school and
crowd effort of cyberbullying, basically.
Yeah, but it was all good fun, you know. And to most people, this eventually became a thing in a school assembly about like, you know, like cyberbullying and what not to do with using your phone and whatnot. And then it kind of just blew over after a while and never really talked about it. And then my buddy just like casually dropped that he was the owner of this Instagram account while we were all hanging out. And we just like all turned to him at once. And you were like, you did that? Because, you know, they were going to suspend whoever created it. But that was kind of a funny story.
Wow, that's good. I mean, like prank-wise.
And then this story is called Bench Pressed, Jackson.
Bench pressed. So this was, I think, sophomore year, I'd say. And we're at one of these, like, the non-varsity games, and we start screaming across the field at these other guys from the school, Rio Mesa. It's out in Oxnard. But we're just, like, yelling at them, and my buddy Jack is kind of like a cornball. He'll say whatever and do whatever, and it started getting under their skin. And then we just see them one by one. They just get up and start making their way all across the stadium. This is like a 7-minute walk. So we're like, the suspense is building. We're like, all right, what are we going to say? What are we going to do? Are we going to fight them? And they come up. We're talking shit back and forth. And then I think I just said, all right, just go back, whatever. And then they start getting back up and leaving. And the guy throws up a middle finger while has his back towards us. And then my buddy Spencer, under his breath, he's like, got some crooked ass fingers. And then shots fired. This guy just runs back up and like tries to tackle him, and it was just like a whole thing. But I think we eventually all had to leave that game at the same time. We got escorted out because you're not allowed to start shit at a football game, I guess.
I hear you. All right, let's talk about the felon rumors, Jackson.
All right, so I got this speeding ticket. It's the first time and only time, knock on wood, that I've gotten actually ticketed. But you know, you go to your driving school or whatever, and you go to court and just plead guilty or whatever, and then you go to your school and then you get it wiped. But
wipe your butt after you poop.
I had taken a picture of document headline. It said "The People versus Bates," and I like sent it to my group chat or whatever. And then they started going around and saying that like I'd hit and run people, and I like injured and killed like a family or something driving. And they started saying that, and I show up to school the next day, and they're like, "You're here? How are you here?" I'm like, I don't know, just got a speeding ticket, and
they're like, "We thought you were a felon."
Yeah, I thought you were a felon.
Donald Trump is heading to the White House as a convicted felon.
Well, it's just a little fast in the slow lane. So
I hear you. What about the time you got framed, Jackson?
I think that's.
Is that it? It literally just says I got framed.
Yeah. Well, I was framed.
Okay, speaking of framing, dude, this one's called fart framing. I don't know if you guys are gonna like this. This is pretty gnarly, but basically, I was riding in a car. Okay. And like, I'm in the back seat, and then Sarah's in the passenger seat, and Sean's driving. And dude, I have like the worst gas, and I am like I am just like ripping it, but like the windows are all open, so I'm like, okay, like this smells bad, but like, I think it's fine because the windows are open, you know? And like, I just keep ripping it over and over. And then Sean goes, "Spencer, are you farting?" And I go, "No." And then dead silent. And I pretty much blamed it on Sarah.
How dare you?
Dude, like I said no, and then it was silent for the rest of it. And I was like, bro, that's crazy. So bad. Like now Sean's thinking it's Sarah who's farting, and and I'm like, I wonder what Sarah's thinking. Maybe she's thinking Sean's gaslighting. You know?
was fart framing and fart shaming. Yeah. That's crazy.
It's like, I do regret it, but it's like, what else could I do? Yeah. Like I had to fart, and like, well, now they'll know.
Yeah.
Now they'll know it was me indeed.
I'm the villain. I'm in my villain era. I'm in my era of I don't give a...
All right, talk about the fake fight, Jackson.
So, you've all have heard of like the senior prank or whatever. And we connected with all like the basketball team, and we're like, we want to do this thing, and just like, we're going to pose a fight. We're going to have everybody crowded around acting like there's a fight going on in the middle, but really it's just going to be two guys giving each other classified. So we were like, set it up. All right, 15 minutes into lunch, you guys are just everybody's going to run across the quad and like start crowding these two people, and the teachers are going to freak out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we just like one by one, everybody starts running over, and then I'm like kind of just watching from a distance, and the one teacher is kind of like, he's reaching over people to get to the middle to stop it, and he sees that they're hugging, and he did not know what to think. He just stood there and was like, "What are you guys doing?" Like still tried to break it up as they were hugging. And it's like, don't break up our hug, dude. But yeah, it's funny.
And then what about the Battle of Halloween?
The Battle of Halloween.
Yeah, this is kind of an intense story name.
Yeah, so we're having a Halloween party. We're all dressed up as frat boys, if I remember correctly. Towards the end of the night, we're getting ready to leave. Uber will be here in 5 minutes, and then we start hearing some commotion outside, and then we walk out, and there's like a full fight going on through the driveway of people we obviously didn't know. Our Uber pulls up right as we walk out. We're like, okay, should we go around the side and avoid the fight? My buddy's just like, no, let's just go right through a single file line, walk through this like fist fight and scuffle, and it was very funny. We had to step over a couple people just getting pounded or whatever.
People getting pounded.
But yeah, and our Uber driver was very puzzled. You got to get out of here fast.
Dude, next one, the Battle of Morocco. Montalvo. Okay, Jax, go for it.
Pretty saucy. So one year for our all-star team, we had our practices getting ready for the all-star season. And there starts to be this like slow argument over like the weeks of who's using the bigger field for batting practice or whatever. And like we were the smaller team at the time, like the younger team, and we were out on the bigger field one day before they all showed up, and this coach, we saw him park his truck, starts marching through the parking lot, and just like, it's going to be a problem. And then he like pulls up to our dugout and starts screaming bloody murder to our coaches, and they had to like separate him and everything, and it was like a full fight where we were like,
it's a full-blown brawl.
Yeah, we were trying to hold our coaches back while the other players were like trying to hold us back, holding our coaches back. So it was like
holding half the distance of the goal.
So much back and forth. And then there was like a whole meeting where they called every parent of every baseball player's kid or whatever, and it was just like a full meeting of,
we're not going to be violent, we're going to keep our season respectable. And
it's safe to say we went like 0 for 9, so
game over.
We got smashed by Goleta.
That's awesome though, that they had to have a meeting and be like, yeah guys, let's be civilized again. Let's stop acting like barbarians.
Come on guys, it's T-ball.
Yeah.
I've actually been a baseball mix-up, and this is actually my adult years. I was into baseball, not brawl, but so it was in the playoffs. It was a close game actually, and I got walked to get on base, and I was really excited about it. So I was like, "Let's go, guys! Let's go!" Like clapping the dugout. A little more animated than that, a little hyped up, and it was just a walk, so not like the coolest way to get on base, but
you still got to first base.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So the next time around, I walked again, and then I stole second base.
Thou shalt not steal anything that don't belong to you when you take it without permission. I don't care how small that thing is.
That's right. And the first baseman on their team was like, "Hey, don't look over there. He's staring at you." So I look over there, and he's staring at me. So then I was like, "All right, but it's nice." Stole second base, and then he starts like staring at me. And I'm like, "What? Like, what the fuck are you looking at, dude? Like, what's up?" He was like, "You're a bitch. Like, fuck you." And I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you're a bitch. Like, what the hell, dude?"
Damn, he's getting in your head, dude.
So I'm standing on second base, getting a lead, and he's like trying to beef me. And he was like, "Meet me in the parking lot. I'll make you my bitch." And I'm like, "What? Like, what are you trying to say to me?" And he said something like, "I'll make you my girlfriend after the game." And I was like, that's kind of like a little gay. Like, what are you trying to get at, man?
I thought he was trying to fight me at first, but now I'm unsure.
I did.
I was trying to wife him.
I was confused. And then my coach, he's on third base, and mind you, I'm 24 at this point in my life. Like, we're adults. We're adults. It's adult league. We pay to play in this league. And he was yelling at me like, "If you don't stop yelling with him, like, I'm gonna put Josh in a run with you." And Josh hates running. He's the slowest guy on the team. And I was like, "I'm not talking anymore because my coach told me not to." So then I stopped talking to him. And then at the end of the game, I was pitching to close the game out, and I had to face him. And I was so ready to go. I was like, "Dude, I'm gonna like dice you up right now." So I threw the nastiest curveball in my life to strike him out. When he was looking, he had a walk off.
That's what's up. Yeah.
I pimped that walk off too. I'll show you guys after the show.
Revenge story right there.
I pimped that strikeout. And then the game ended. So we all have to like do a respectful thing, and you did in Little League. We're like, you
high five.
You could give each other. And
yeah.
then I got to him. We both just dropped our hand. Like, we didn't say anything to each other.
Yeah.
And then
that's unspoken.
The last guy in the lineup, who was like 23, bald, so nice one. He shoves my head. Like, he shoves my head to the side. And he was like, he could point his chest like he was the guy. I'm like, first of all, you're not the guy, because like, your hair's gone. And then the guy that was the original guy I was beefing with wasn't even there. So
yeah, he's like, I've had
a little bit
enough.
of a scuff up there.
What a nightmare.
Yeah, well, Jackson had an even more intense one, right? I don't want to say what it is. Go for it,
So this is still when I'm like 16 or whatever. This is for a travel baseball team. We're playing out at this kind of like off the beaten path, random field. I'm all with older dudes, so I was like kind of one of the younger players. So I would sit bench for a little bit and then, go in if they wanted me to. But we get into like the second inning, and I'm just like chilling on the bench, and we hear the screams you've never heard before. And this guy is going and like starting a fight with like whoever, and it's most likely gang related. But this game had to get rescheduled because of a stabbing that happened in the second inning. It happened so fast, the guys just, it happened. They ran away, and the cops came, and we were like,
Can we still play? Can we still play baseball?
But
with the lift. With the lift.
It had to
Can
get
we still play?
But that was like half a day wasted, because then we ended up just getting whooped the reschedule. But it's okay though.
Well, it seems like it goes down at baseball.
I just remembered another fight. I was the one that was breaking it up. So this was when I was 17.
16, maybe 17, maybe 18.
Yeah.
There was this guy on our team who was like, he was just like not like a very educated guy.
Yeah.
So there was a guy on the other team that I think was like a little sped, like a little bit, like a little off, So him and this guy during the game like start like spin back and forth, but it's just saying stuff. And then the game ends, and that guy doesn't come out to do the handshake thing. All of the guys run to the parking lot and they fight. They actually swing at each other and hit each other. And I had to get like between them and like shove our guy back, and that was a whole fight there. And then we had like, they got suspended. There was a whole like sit down with the league, like no fighting.
Let's stop beating each other up,
I was always trying to knock someone unconscious.
All right, how about Luke's bad roommate?
This was the place before I live in now. And this guy, I have never met someone who made as smelly of eggs as this guy did. I don't know how it's possible.
Got a musk to him, huh?
Insurance financed.
I'm not going to like say much about him, but like he's known for being a not great smelling person.
A little bit of BO.
Collab between
Funny
eggs
enough,
and BO.
So he made the worst smelling eggs imaginable. Pungent, sharp feeling in the nose. Like it was not a normal smell.
Smelly smell that smells smelly.
Pungent, potent.
And
it's like a nostril assault.
And the AC would go off and it would go, HVAC was right next to the
push
kitchen.
everything through the
and
house.
My room was next to the kitchen. So it would blow all of his shit into my room. All the egg smell. I work from home, so I'd be in the middle of like a work meeting and then I'm trying to like speak and tell people stuff. And all of a sudden there's egg smell going straight in my face and it's the grossest thing ever. I'm on Zoom.
Never eat them again.
I'm on Zoom trying to play it cool. And like it's the worst ever, dude.
It's like those commercials for secondhand smoke, but like now it's secondhand egg.
Secondhand egg.
Right.
So, go nose blind to your own funk, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. But he was messy. I cleaned the stove all the time. My mom helped me move out, and she was like, "That was the most disgusting kitchen I've ever seen in my life." I love telling this story. I'm just remembering more and more stories. He would put the cheese on the pasta, but it ended up around the kitchen. So I'm pretty convinced he would stand on top of the counter as high as he could.
Just dust it.
Instead of doing this, he was like doing like a whirlwind kind of thing. It was crazy where the cheese ended up.
Say cheese.
What is cheese? Cheese is just curdled milk. But
I ended up becoming a manager mover. It was called a captain mover.
Captain mover.
Yeah.
Jackson and I both put up the salute.
Both these guys just saluted me. So February of 2022, I got this truck at 6 a.m., went to this person's house, and the dad was really mean. Like he was really, really rude.
Don't be rude.
We had some issues. I think they had a lot of stuff, and like we only had one truck, so they were upset that like we might not be able to take everything. And this girl's dad was geeking out, and he ended up getting up in my truck while I was like not looking, and he was critiquing how we were organizing the truck.
I worked for a moving company too, and if there's one thing you shouldn't do as a client is get up and start telling other people how to do their job, because that shit's hard enough already.
Yeah, so I did not appreciate he was doing that. So there was a girl on the team. He made her cry because he yelled at her. And so I had to go around the back with her, and I was like, "Are you okay? Like, do you need time out? Like, what do you need?" So I was already pretty upset with him. So he gets up in the truck. I turn around, and he's up there, and he's like critiquing how I did it. And I said, "Sir, can you get out of the truck? That's a safety hazard." And he's like, "You want to know it's a safety hazard?" And looks to his right. "All this shit in my driveway is a safety hazard." And I was like, I was so fed up at that point. And this is the one only time I snapped.
Really?
Like, the one only time I ever snapped during my job in my whole life. And I literally yelled at him. I was like, "Listen, dude, like, if you want to keep talking like this, I'm going to take all the stuff in my truck and I'm going to put it back in your house and I'm going to cancel this whole job and you're going to have to figure out another time to move this stuff. Because you made one of my movers cry, you're pissing me off, and you're being super rude to everybody. And, like, I'm super sick of you treating everybody like this." Damn! So, you know, you better fix your attitude right now or else I'm putting all your stuff back inside. And then he like checked himself at that point. Yeah. He was like, "Okay, I'm sorry." And he ended up being gone for the whole thing. We ended up doing
That's what's up, Luke. I love that. I love hearing that side of you, dude.
Dude, I use that story to get my job I have now. My manager was like, "What'd you do when I had a customer that was like upset with you?" And I was like, "Oh,
you're like I told him to fuck off."
Yeah.
I did without telling him that. So
the opposite of the customer's always right.
Yeah.
Those are my job stories.
So Luke's got a story here. This is a golf club story.
Oh, and here's the best part.
Yeah, this one involves my dad and our neighbors. So,
weird neighbor? Yeah, let's go for it.
We were outside and I was in the front yard hitting those little wiffle balls with a golf club. He came out and he was like, "Oh, let me show you how it's done." He's that kind of dad. Like, "Let me show you how it's done."
Not "let me help you do this." "Let me show you how it's done."
Yeah.
Move out of the
son,
way. Pushes you out of the way.
Exactly.
Right.
So he swings as hard as he possibly can, and the golf club slips out of his hands, and it is flying through the air. It's going through the air, going
helicopter,
like a helicopter, and it goes all the way across the cul-de-sac through our neighbor's window, and you hear a massive explosion of glass.
Way.
Gosh.
So then, in this family, there was like 6 like very Chinese people living in there. You smell the fish in the garage because they have like so much fish in there. So they all file out, and the last person to come out is the grandma, and it was her room. It was the oldest person in the house was in there, and she came out and she's like holding her chest, like, you know, hyperventilating because she thought a bomb went off. She thought it was like,
that's kind of sad.
Little Asian lady.
Right.
Like the bomb went off. And then, sure enough, 2 weeks later, she fucking died.
What?
Spencer just fell out of his chair.
I leaned back and I just like fell back. What?
Yeah,
She died?
She died. Yeah.
And I was like, Because of that.
No, not good. Probably. It probably didn't add time to her life.
That did not add
It took her that long to process what had happened, and then
bro. Dude, I mean, it was so loud from across the street. She was in that room when the golf club went through her. So he had to buy a new thing, and so that's the golf club story.
And since had to replace the window.
I'll have to remind my dad about that next time.
Replace the grandma.
Next time I see, yeah, no, she's super dead.
Yeah, that sucks.
Rest in peace.
Thank you so much for tuning in. You know what time it is. Leave a rating/review. 5 stars is a power play. Be sure to follow the show and keep up with me on social medias at Spencer Whiteout to stay up to date. As always, stay tuned, stay hyped. That's a wrap.
Inserting exclusive audio recording from the vault.
Wait, what happened?
Yeah, fighting like, oh, you know, it's not my fault. And I was like, what? They're gonna start fighting, you know, throwing punches, and I was like, and the lady said, you know what? I don't want anything from you guys. And then I stepped out and I said, you know what? Let's do it again, okay? It was, but she was really, really a crazy lady. But also my
your helper he wasn't much help, was he?
I mean, no, he was kind of a child. I mean, it was the bad.
Yeah, you were babysitting. You were babysitting.
Yeah. It was a teenager. That's why.
Yeah.
And not really strong. Right now, it was not really heavy stuff.
Yeah.
But some of the furniture, oh my. So he was scratching all the wall, and I said, be careful. He couldn't. He doesn't have the strength to lift it up and myself, I cannot do it myself.
Right.
So it was a bad day. It's just
a disaster,
Yeah, it was a bad day.
He probably never worked another Lugg shift again.
Then the next time that they said, I'm gonna say you no, I said, no, I don't want this guy. Why? What happened? Nothing happened, just I don't want him. Because I never talk bad about people like, you know, no, it's not right. So I said, no, the only thing I don't want him, and if you can send me another guy, please send me another guy. And yeah, that's the only one. That's why I ask you, you know, really heavy stuff. Like those couch with the bed. I don't know how do you call those. The one they had, you folded the bed. And it's a couch.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That one.
That would be really heavy.
Oh my! And then at the end, the lady, she was helping to lift the stuff because I couldn't do it myself. Yeah. You know, and
well, at least we got to disassemble that couch.
Oh no! Because I knew.
You knew what you were doing.
All the couches you can do that, but those, the one with the bed, you can. It has the mattress, it has the frame, and
it's all one piece.
Yeah, and you have to lift it up and go. And it was the stairs, one stair right there, second floor and third floor. I said, no way.
Yeah.
That was
sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. It is what it is.
And that's it.